can just do that split screen thingy. It's actually better like this. Then I don't have to look too far away. What's that? Oh, votes for women. There you go.
Yeah, I just put it out. Do y'all celebrate National Women's Day? Like, what did y'all celebrate yesterday? Or for us yesterday, for you?
We do. I wouldn't call it celebrating it, but
Well, there was nothing like
we
a big deal.
recognize it.
Oh, you
Not
recognize it?
really. We recognize that it's a thing.
It's funny because I think in some of the more, um, I guess, cultures where you wouldn't expect it to be celebrated, it is more celebrated.
Maybe
You
because
know,
it's a bigger deal.
because women don't usually get a day.
Yeah.
Today is your day. Stay in bed or something. I would
Yeah, like
celebrate
the
Women's Day.
really
Stay
oppressed
in bed.
places, maybe. Just
Hmm.
yeah, it's a good way to celebrate.
I saw a meme that was anything you can do, I can do bleeding. I was like, oh, that's fucked up. That was
Wow,
hardcore.
that is hardcore.
I was like,
Oh my
ouch.
god.
That was so.
We
You
live yet?
showed what's that? Yeah, we're live.
You didn't
Uh,
say your thing. I didn't even know we were live. I
I
thought you were
say
still
it at the
testing
end.
my
I know
audio.
at the beginning. I'd just like to
Oh my
surprise you, so we're in the
god.
middle of a conversation, and it's
That's
you
crazy.
never know what's
That's
going on.
so crazy. You usually tell me, all right, I'm going to turn. That's so funny. I did not know. Anyway, so that's good.
So
We're live. I didn't say anything too.
no, you didn't say anything at all. I was the one who's talking about anything you can do, I can do bleeding
Oh,
thing.
that's gold.
Have you seen that meme anyway?
I haven't. I
Okay,
haven't.
so
But it's funny because I actually like I really like that. I like the idea of it. I think it's cool. I think it's like true to some degree, but there's also some days where,
I don't
like
even want to do it.
I have felt bad that I have called in sick because I was on my period, but I was like really badly, I was in a
Hmm.
bad way and I
Right.
couldn't go. But I did feel a bit like a failure because you do, as a woman, have that attitude like, yeah, we can still do it. We can do whatever.
Yeah, even
It's
though I'm
fine. I'm not going to let it
discomforted or
hold me
whatever,
back. Sometimes I'm like, I'm going to let it
I'm gonna
hold me
let it
back.
hold me back.
Yeah.
You know, on a different note, okay, so my friend Brent used to like I don't know what it was. Okay, so like when we would go to school, I
Mm,
loved going to school for the social aspect only, and
right.
then sometimes we'd learn stuff, but it was it just kind of sucked. But anyway,
Yeah.
so he would not call in, he would absent for any reason at all. If he had a slight headache, he wouldn't go. And we
Quitter.
lived, a little bit far out of the way of the school, and we would walk to school every day.
Mm.
So I'd wake up and I'd have to leave like an hour before school, and I would walk and I'd go to his house just for him to tell me, I'm not going today, man. And then,
Uh,
it sucked because like it was out of the way to go to his house. Like he couldn't
mm,
call me and tell
mm.
me when I left, hey man, I'm not going to school today or whatever. That fucking
Right.
sucked. And he would just for any reason. I got a little bitty headache. I got a paper cut. I'm not going to school. He just hated school.
He'd be a terrible woman then. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
he
saying?
couldn't do it bleeding.
He
Definitely
couldn't hack it.
not. He'd be like, I'm not going to school 2 days from today because no, I'm not going to school today because 2 days from today I think I'm gonna be on my way.
That's pretty funny. So what did you
Yeah.
do? Did you just slack off with him if he was doing that? Would you get tempted to
No,
just
never.
like,
Uh-uh.
oh, okay. Oh,
Well,
good for you.
I had a very strict mom. I didn't ever play hooky. Do y'all have that as
Okay.
a term, play hooky?
We don't say that, but I'm
Oh,
aware that
you
you
know what
guys
it
do.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I always went to school. If I'd had to be really ill not to go to school. I love the social aspect of it. I didn't want to be home alone. I wanted to interact with people.
Oh God, I hated it.
Mm.
But then I was bullied all day, every day. So the social aspect wasn't very fun. I couldn't wait to go to class. I was like, oh no, not a lunchtime.
Well, I was bullied
So
and
sad.
I had to deal with childhood violence, where we had to fight and do all those
Mm,
things, and it sucked, but I mean, it was a very survival oriented type of childhood that I had, so, it's
yeah.
just one of the parts to it,
School was like being in prison.
sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
all the gangs and all their little social rules and certain things you can't do and say, and like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's an
and it is
interesting idea because school prepares you for for prison and
jail.
jail, and in college prepares you for life. Because like in college,
Right.
it's like no one's gonna tell you to go. You paid for
Yeah.
it. They don't give a shit. You have to wake
Yeah.
your
If you
damn
don't
self up.
go, then yeah, then you'll just fail it, but we'll still get our money, you know.
So I can remember like the first semester, like everybody, like okay, so whenever right after you get out of high school and you go to college, like the first semester you think this is just like high school, so you schedule yourself like a lot of classes and you do them all early and you do it in the same structure as you did school, and you're just like
Yeah.
constantly in college, and then like your second semester you're like fuck that was fucking hard, you start like I'm gonna have an afternoon class, I'll have a morning class, I have 2 hours in between for a long lunch, and you start planning around your social
Yeah.
life, sort of.
Yeah, except I've kind of done that because Ren's in childcare Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm back at uni, and I've decided to put it all in those 3 days. So I'm
Mm,
doing that right now. I'm doing that whole back to back thing right now, and yeah, it's not a good idea.
mm.
It's better to space it out, and then you can like prepare to go to class. Anyway,
And
it's fine.
then
It's too late now.
and and then for National Women's Day you have to do it bleeding,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yep.
is even
You do.
worse.
um.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say something about uni, and now I've forgotten.
No, say it. Oh,
Oh
you
no, it
forgot.
is still good in a way because it's like just freaking get it done. You know,
Mm-hmm.
get the hard slog done, and it's like party the rest of the week. No, I'm kidding. It's not like
Vodka shots all week long except for those
Woo!
3 days.
Vodka jelly shots.
Oh
That's the
man.
real uni. Yeah. No, what I was gonna say was before when you said playing hooky or whatever the hell you guys say, which is weird.
Playing hooky.
Um, we say wagged. A wagged school.
What?
Yeah, wagged
Wagged.
school. What
What does that even mean?
does hooky mean?
I don't know.
Okay, don't come at me like that. Like,
Does
you're
it
like,
have
I
to?
don't know.
What is wagged? Huh? I don't get it.
I'm gonna wag today. I did wag once. I wagged school once,
Really? Did you
and
get caught?
we went down to Gisborne. I don't think we. Well, no, I don't think we did. I basically told my parents. I think we were in year 11. I basically told my parents because that was the real trouble. I didn't want to come down on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
never done it before, and I was like, look, the plan is that all my like friends are gonna wag school that day. So can I go as well? I feel like such a loser.
That is
I
pretty
can't
loser
even
shit to
do.
do. It's
I
like
can't even do something bad. I have to ask to do something bad. Like yeah, and my parents were like, yeah, that's okay. Like they were just like, I
basically
guess
they
they were
let you
happy that
call in sick to school. That's what they did. You didn't wag school. You called in sick.
they did. They did.
Mm,
And we had like fried chicken for lunch. I remember that at
mm.
like this milk bar, and then we went to like the surf shop, and then I think we sat in a park and smoked cigarettes, and it was just so pointless. How dumb is being a kid? Seriously.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
whatever.
funny. Um, did you wear your uniform that day? Because like for me, that's alien.
No. No,
Uniforms and
that's because
shit.
that's when you get in trouble. That's when
Oh,
you get in trouble. Like if a teacher goes to like the fucking chemist or whatever the hell teachers do at lunchtime,
mm-hmm.
and they see you down the street and then you're wearing the uniform, then everyone in the whole town knows that,
You're
you're a
supposed to be in school.
rebel and you're supposed to be in school and you're just wagging. And then that's when
Mm.
the shit comes down. And so you don't do that. Yeah. You got to. I think my friends like wore the uniform on the bus, and then when they got off the bus, they changed it or like just went to the public toilets, changed. And then that was
Mm. And here your parents are calling in school. No, Sarah can't come in today. She's not feeling well.
like, yeah, they're my accomplices.
Everyone else is all wagging for real, and you're fake wagging. That's funny.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wonder how many of them were actually fake wagging. How many of them told their parents, and they're like, and like, who was the real
Yeah.
rebel?
I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one that just
I'm pretty sure
was
you
like,
weren't either.
yeah,
Kids.
yeah. We were all
Okay,
so good anyway that our parents were like, yeah, actually go and try
we've got to
something, do
we got
something bad. It'll be
a
more
guest
interesting.
appearance. We got a
Yeah,
guest appearance.
she's hiding under the table. She loves hiding under the table lately. I told you this, right? The
Yeah,
other
yeah,
night, she actually fell asleep.
that's
I
cute.
obviously took too long and she just fell asleep hiding from me under the table.
That's
Anywho,
cute. You were asking me about
Yeah.
Dungeon Pets,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Okay, Dungeon Pets is pretty cool. You know about the poop cubes, right?
Yeah. I've heard
Okay,
about the
so
poop cubes. So there was a running joke for a while there at the Board Game BBQ that Mike liked poop games. It's a bit like you with the poop emoji, babe. That Mike
mhm,
liked poop games because he talked about a few in a row and it was all just like poop
like
games. We're
Dungeon
like, you're a
Pets, and
poop
then like
game. Yeah.
like the Wombat game. Um,
What's the wombat game?
that's Mike Wolf's other game. I think his name is
Oh,
Mike Wolf, the Square and Circleville
Matt
guy.
Wolf?
Yeah,
Matt
Matt
Wolf.
Wolf. Yeah, his
Right.
first game was something Wombat, Rescue Wombat, and it would make it would do poop. And I think the only reason he did wombats because they poop
Cubes.
they cubes.
They do. They poop
So that was the
cubes.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what
They
I
got cube
propose to
butts.
you,
Yeah.
because you mentioned that game, I mentioned hegemony, but in a very different way. What I said is I'm
Can you please
interested
say
in
hegemony?
hegemony. I was interested in playing it. I didn't say I want to own it or I want to buy it. There's a sale. Nothing. I said I want to play it because I definitely want to play it first.
Just so people know you're talking about hegemony,
Hegemony,
not
homogeny,
hegemony.
hegemony.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Continue. Yeah. I'm ready for the
you
judgment.
it's not judgment. I'm gonna make you a deal.
Mm.
And then there was Henza Teutonica, great game.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Although it's a little dated, it's a good game, but it is a little dated, and we know through the it's not public knowledge that it's probably not the greatest time to purchase it if you're interested in getting something similar. That's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
So my
But it's the big box.
yeah, it is the big box. I don't think that okay. So the standard game, although it doesn't look like much and doesn't feel like there's a whole lot going on, it's hard to master without any expansions, without anything. It's really hard to master because it's hard to know how things really interact. It's very opaque in a game that doesn't
Mm.
look like it's opaque at all.
Oh, that sounds like it's right up my alley.
Right, it is right
Why
up
haven't
your
I
alley.
played this game?
So we both have a problem with we own too many games,
That's true.
and it doesn't stop the inflow. So my proposal is, at the very least, trade out one for one. Sell 3 games, or give them away, or whatever. And it's something of equal size, not value, size. Because it
Equal
wouldn't be fair.
size.
Something close, just a regular, like, don't try to cheat it and say, like, I got rid of a love letter copy I had. Now I can get hegemony.
I'm not getting rid of any of my love letters. I got 2 special love letters.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's my
Okay.
proposal.
Okay.
I would normal for myself. I'm going to do 2 for 1. Well, I already said this
I
year
said
I'm
sell
not getting
2 and then buy 1.
get rid of 2. You get rid of them however you want to. You don't have to necessarily sell them because sometimes games are hard to sell. But if you give them away or chunk them in the trash or do whatever you got to do, decommission them so you can use the parts for prototypes. I don't know. Give them to a library. I don't know. I limited myself this year to X amount of games. Even if they're small or big, I'm not getting more than that. And if I do, I'm going to trade them out 2 for 1. I'm going to get rid of 2 and put in 1. That's what I want to do.
My question to you is, why are you such a killjoy?
I know. It's like, I know it really is like staring a kid in the face and
Like,
say,
wow.
if you want this candy, you have to get rid of those
Eat
candies.
your carrots.
Yeah.
Eat all your beans.
What is the Pink Floyd line? You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat or something like that.
Okay, I don't want either of those.
Mm.
Definitely don't want a meat pudding either.
It comes up all the
Okay,
time.
so can I just say
Go ahead.
why this week I've been looking at some games, some specific games?
Sure. Let's hear it.
Okay, so not today's question of our Discord, but what was the question before that, Mo?
Hell if I know. I can't remember. Dude, you know how
What
little
was your
sleep I get?
question? You,
You know
I
how
do
little
know
sleep I get? I
do
can't
know how
remember
little-
anything.
Oh, look, Rin's playing You're a Penguin by herself in the background. That's
Oh
really cute.
man, it
So
looks like she has a
sweet.
frowny face too.
She's concentrating.
Okay.
That's what I look like when I'm playing board games too. um, the question was, what are the games that like no one's playing right now because of all the influx of like ridiculous amounts of games that you think are going to be worth showing to your
Yeah, 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 yeah.
game group later, blah blah blah. And it just got me thinking of like certain games that I haven't picked up yet that are probably ending their like run and
Right,
not going to
right.
be that easy to find. And that's why I looked up Dungeon Pets and Answer, and what was the other one? There was another one. I don't know. I also love Ladder, and I haven't ever tried Dungeon Pet, so I was just genuinely curious about what you thought of the game.
I liked
Just
it.
asking you what you thought. God, Thought
The
Police.
well, no,
Yeah,
you didn't just add, you said it's on sale.
yeah.
That's more
And
than
the
just asking.
expansion was only $20, but
I'm not
the
saying it's a
fun
bad
police
purchase.
here.
I'm not trying to be a fun police. I'm like, I'm sure
I'm
there's
not trying to
games
be.
that you own that you would love to get rid of and just have
Mm,
motivation. But yeah, I
yeah.
did mention that the other day, and I guess I'll just expand on that. Like, I think I had been looking at the saturation of the market completely wrong. I kept looking, it kept bringing me down, just thinking about how impossible it is to be seen as a game now. Like,
Mm,
I'm seeing some decent games go on Kickstarter, and they're only selling 300 copies, 400 copies, and let's say they
yeah.
double that, and that means their print runs are less than 1,000, which means they're rarer than Spielworks games.
Yeah.
And that means, okay, so, and then I'm talking to my roommate, Lennon's like, yeah, I didn't get that game, or I didn't get this game, or whatever. And I'm
Mm,
like, okay, so there's all these medium heavyweight games, or mostly heavy medium, that I never got to say, hey, we need to try that.
mm,
And people aren't talking about them because there's so many games. So this is an ideal time to pick those games up and have them for later, because they're not going to be a second print run or nothing. They're going to be rarities. And it's important to me because I do that game curation for my game days and stuff,
yeah.
and I always want to bring something interesting and something new, something that you hadn't seen, but older, because I don't like to look at the current market because it's just too easy. I mean, why not go back and give a little bit of love to something that came out that deserves to be seen?
Yeah, I'd say this is probably true of like all of the time, even when the market is a little lower. Like, just keep an eye out for the games that you know aren't getting a whole lot of marketing because you might actually find a gem. But then again, it's hard to know. Like, it's kind of hard to know that they are good. Like, it's still a
Right.
gamble.
Well, yeah, it is hard to know. That's why I don't advocate buy everything. Play and make a lot of friends with people. It's important to find like-minded people for just that reason, to help you
Mm,
scour the market for the things that you might be interested in. Like
mm,
Joe and Greentown. Like, I would have never known for that game. It's way lighter than it's in my view of games. I never look for games at 2.5. If it says 2.5 on the weight ratio thing on BGG, I skip it. I put it right back.
mm,
It's got to be like a 3
mm.
point something for me to even like. So
Mm.
it's important.
So maybe the thing is curate your game group more than your games, and then
Oh, yeah,
it'll happen.
definitely. Definitely. Ryan Courtney asked a question about that the other day. He asked something on Twitter about,
We always talk about Ryan.
I know. Well, maybe he'll actually start listening someday. Maybe his ears are burning.
Hey, he came. He came once.
Yeah, he
One
came
time.
once. Um, yeah, he said he asked something about games that make people turned off about gaming because they didn't, they thought it was going to be something amazing. The game was lackluster, and then they no longer want to participate in the hobby because the games didn't really sit like they thought of. And I thought, that's not really a game question. The question is really, the answer is, it's about the people.
Yeah.
Like, um, I play a lot of games I don't like, and because I'm mean, but it's more about the people. The people that I'm hanging out with, we get to joke around and have fun. You must curate the people that, and only by personality is what I'm talking about. Like you're just looking for personalities that you can get along with. And for me, I go for a very diverse group for the most part. But
Yeah, but maybe it is also good to have a group that that all have the same taste, so that it's not just going to be this total like, well, let's try new things all the time and trying to hit, the right note for the group. And instead, if you've got a group that you play with, on a fairly regular basis or whatever, that actually like the same games as you, and then you can actually like bring those games out more than once, maybe.
yeah,
That's where I'm at. I guess I'm struggling with that. Like, I've got a great group of friends, and of course I wouldn't dream of not playing with them, but I think that our tastes do, like, there's overlaps obviously, but our tastes are different, and so we end up basically just trying new stuff every
new shit
time.
all the time. Yeah,
Yeah, and then that someone will love it, someone will be okay on it, and someone will hate it, and then it just never comes back.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah. Like the problem is the sounding board. Like you can isolate yourself, just like in politics. You can isolate yourself, and then you think that like
Oh no,
the
she's
part.
not playing it. She's rage quitting. You're a
Oh
penguin.
no, no.
Oh
Well,
dear.
she's learning early.
Ren, after I do this talk, I will definitely play it with you, okay? Yeah? Just being such a Mo right now.
Oh no.
Kidding.
Uh,
I'm kidding.
what I was saying is like you can isolate yourself with a group and just be completely about reflecting off of each other, and you just end up thinking you guys are always right. So you kind of do need a little bit of difference so that you can
Right.
see. You got to have a contrarian in your group, at least one
Yeah.
that's different than the rest to show you some things.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I'm
But
not saying trade in your friends. That's not
oh
what I'm
yeah, definitely
suggesting,
trade in your
anybody.
friends, get better friends,
Trade-
get
okay.
get better friends, scrub,
Uh,
without a
but it is
doubt.
true though. It's happening quite a lot, I think. Like, I hear a lot of gamers go, "Oh, I'm buying this game because I think such and such will like it." And it's like, that is insane. Like, don't just keep buying games. Keep forcing your friends to play the same game that they don't like. I
Right.
don't know.
That's something well, now Brian's fighting for playing the same game over. So
Yeah.
his thing is let's play it again, like
Yeah.
right after we finish, which is amazing. I'm
Yeah.
loving that.
I
And my
love that
thing
too.
is I
Especially if
fight.
it's you've only just played it for the first time. I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
just
for
play a
sure.
game for the first time and then we pack it away. It's like, wait, no, can I know what is happening now? Like, can we play it again now?
Right, 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 and get a better opinion of the about a better
Yeah.
idea of what you feel about the game. And then I'm the person who advocates for old games that we already have or just old
Yeah.
technology. I'm like, hey, let's play this thing we love. We know we love it. Let's go back to my top 10. My top
And
10,
then it's
not
Age
y'all's,
of Steam.
mine.
Age of
Let's do
Steam
the
all
Age of
day.
Steam again. Yeah. Um, and of course, Lyndon has just a back catalog he has to get through. So he's always like, I learned this new game. So
He's
yeah,
grinding.
he's grinding
Grinding
through
through
pretty much
That's
trying to
so
grind
funny.
through. Yeah. And new shit shows up all the time that he's ordered 2 years ago.
Oh no.
So
Lyndon.
it's a constant fight.
He needs to sell. He needs to sell, sell, sell. Yeah, well, actually, back on that, you having a go at me for looking up games and stuff.
I wouldn't
I
call it
haven't
having to
bought
go.
any. I haven't bought any. Um, my oath is now to play through all the ones that I haven't played.
Yeah, I heard that.
And yeah, and then if I don't like any of them, they can go. You know how I told you, like, I have basically a float. Like, I have a float of games that I haven't played. It's never usually this many. I've got like 27. It's ridiculous how many I have. So I
Hmm.
have been bad. I have. Um, so I'm going to play them and I'm going to ditch them if I don't like them. I'm just going to sell them.
That's cool. That's
And I'm
good.
already thinking about the ones that are going to replace it.
Yeah, that's the problem. See, that is like we'll have this discussion like 2 episodes ago, or on Discord, and we'll be like, yeah, well, I want to get my collection to 100 or 50, or it would be cool, and all this
It's a
amazing stuff, and
dream.
then boom, I get a message, hey, this is on sale. It's really good, and
Oh dear.
I'm like, okay, so on Hansa, that okay, so my true thing is that there's something down the pipe to think about with that, but
Yeah.
I know the information. But the second part is it's old
Look at you with
technology.
your finger on the
So
pulse.
what's that?
Look at you with your finger on the pulse. You know what's going on.
Sometimes, not very often, but sometimes. It's a little bit old technology, and if you like the old games, yes, it's worth owning. And there's probably games that are below your 50 mark that you probably should get rid of and replace with this. I would say,
Mm,
because I think it'll make your top 100. I think
really?
it's pretty
Oh,
good.
okay.
It's really good, and it's really
Kansas
there's
gonna
not a
make my
lot to
top
it either.
100. Yep. It's got little
Um,
houses. I do like little houses.
yeah, it's all about the little house, little hotels,
Yeah.
like you're playing Monopoly.
Like Monopoly. I love Monopoly. Everyone
Yeah,
knows that about me.
yeah. I thought it
Okay.
was
So,
interesting that when
yeah,
we asked the question, or I asked the question today in our Discord about your experiences, like your first game you
first
bought through
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter, and they all are almost negative. Like it's always like, yeah, I
Really?
got it, and like I don't have it anymore, or there's like one or two people that have said I got it and I like it or whatever, but usually they got rid of it, or they got rid of it and they didn't really mean to. They're like, actually, it's good or whatever. So I think it's
Yeah.
interesting. It goes to show you that um, you have to be really discerning with what you pick up, other unless you just or don't care that you have all this stuff that's just gonna flux in and flux
Mm,
out.
mm. Yeah, and I think the thing with the crowdfunding stuff is a lot of it can hold its value pretty well as long like if you sell it straight away. If you sell it
Mm-hmm.
straight away, you can usually make a profit from it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there is that. So I think people feel like it's very low risk generally. Actually, it was funny because I was talking, I think it was in our Discord about Kickstarter the other day, and I said I basically don't back anything anymore. I can't remember if it was our Discord or if it was a Board Game BBQ one, but I was like, I basically don't crowdfund anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then they, asked why, and I said too many disappointments, and then they were like, "Oh, I've basically always got the game that I've crowdfunded," and I'm like, "No, that wasn't the disappointment. Like I've gotten the games. That was the disappointment."
You're better off not getting them.
I would have been better off. They should have just not sent it, and then I could have kept believing. They killed the dream. Um, yeah, I really don't have that many crowdfunded games that have really wowed me at all. And it's so easy for us to just go, oh, look at all this stuff. And it just becomes this it's like a buffet, that you don't really need that. You don't need all that
Well,
stuff. And you
okay,
regret
so
it straight after. Don't eat buffet.
when when you think about Brazilian barbecue places, what do you call those Brazilian barbecue
Oh,
places where they have all the meat and shit?
churrasco or whatever.
Yeah,
Churrasco.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of ways you can look at those buffets. Like they have a buffet that has
Mm,
like everything on it, and then they bring all the meat to you. And like some people think, oh, I'm gonna be smart, and I'm not gonna hit the buffet, and I'm just gonna sit here and eat all the meat, get my money's worth,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Then there's
yeah,
some people who are all like, well, I like a variety in taste, so I'm gonna eat everything. I'm gonna eat a little bit of everything, right?
yeah,
They're
yeah.
both bad moves. That's a lot of fucking food you don't need to eat.
Right,
So
right.
I to
It's
relate this
like, are
to
you gonna hibernate for winter?
right.
Like, why are you eating all this in one sitting?
So this goes to that Kickstarter mentality, and I'm not trying to be a killjoy, but like
Oh,
Lyndon does that thing where he did that thing where he's like he resold some stuff that he got, right? And it was in huge packages, and it happened to resell because it was all in and he had
mm,
everything, and he made it, $50 on it or whatever.
right.
So he became this person that's narrowly focused on only Kickstarters that have all this junk with the mentality that I can resell it.
Right.
Well, we're looking for good games. We're not looking for reselling things.
Right. We're
Like,
not looking for $50 and it's like a
right,
total nuisance to go through that whole process of trying to sell it as well.
right, right. So, like, you justify it to yourself to buy it because
Mm,
you know you can resell it. And then
right.
you end up down this path that is self destructive where you're just buying the stuff
Mm,
to resell it because you
yeah.
can try it and it's no big deal. You can even make a few
Yeah.
bucks on it. And I'm not for either one. Like, I'm like,
Mm,
I'm very anti Kickstarter, and I'm fine. And though lately I've regretted a few things because they've come through for people. Like Autobahn
mm,
was a Kickstarter one. I wish I would have known about it at the time, but in all
yeah.
honesty, I wouldn't have bought it. I would have
Right.
waited for someone else to tell me it's good, and that's what I did. Someone said
Yeah.
it's good. It looked interesting, and I bought it,
And you
and
still
no
found it
regrets.
because you're in the US, so you can find stuff if you need to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lucky.
And let's say I couldn't, right?
Mm.
I have to deal with FOMO. You
Yeah.
can't.
And it's
You
not that
can't.
bad. FOMO's not
I don't
that
know. I'm
bad.
from America. We
I
usually
mean,
get what we want,
that's true.
so it's difficult.
It is really that bad. Actually, that's true. But eventually you get obsessed with something else, right? Yeah, it's really weird because like so a couple of times that I've bought like these big Kickstartery things and I've been super excited by the look of them and whatever. Like I backed ISS Vanguard or whatever, but then when they come, it's like, who are you gonna get to play this thing through with you? Like, I guess if you're soloing it, that's probably fine. But who are you gonna get to commit to all that? None of your friends did that commitment. You did it yourself, okay? You put that all that money into one game that's gonna take it's gonna take 100 and something hours, and no one else wants to jump on board. Like, I don't know. Unless you got someone that literally sat with you and went, "Yeah, let's back this," and you did it together or something like that.
Right, right.
Otherwise, you all have, like I could go to my group and go, "I've got ISS Vanguard. I really want to play it. Let's all commit our lives to this thing." And then, of course, they're like, "No, I've got my own Kickstarters that I've committed my life to. Let's play my one." Like
Right, right.
it's just, and it comes and it's just like this burden. It's just this huge box with all this stuff and it's so hard to learn it. It's just too much. It's too much for any human. And so I'm done. I'm done with Kickstarter. It just stresses me out too much.
So that is a good thing. Is like if you have a partner and you're married,
Yeah.
instead of like using children as your bind together, like we got to tough it out. We got a Kickstarter coming. We got Vanguard coming. It's fucking like it's 3 boxes. I
Yeah.
won't have anyone else to commit. Like anytime you're about like you're so pissed off at your partner, think about those
Yeah.
Kickstarters that you won't get to play with anybody. Think about
Oh
the
my
big
God, that's
boxes.
so true. Or like if you've actually started playing and you're like through the campaign and it's like, well, yeah, I'm stuck with this person until at least we finish the campaign.
So that also, if you're in a relationship and you feel like it's almost over and like you're in trouble, like start Frosthaven. You gotta at least,
Right. Then you've
we
got
gotta
at
make it through
least,
Frosthaven, baby.
yeah, then you got to like 8 years.
Yeah, so like, and then if you piss them off, you'll just play more Frosthaven because they want to get through it as quickly as they can.
I love it.
Yeah.
You dodged a bullet with that one because I'm not playing that with you.
Thank God, no. I would have played it. I would totally would have played
No,
it.
I know.
You know.
I know you would have. I know you would have. And maybe you
Yeah.
still will. Or maybe it'll be the next one. What's the next one going to be? Firehaven.
I don't know what the fuck
Because
you
I
go.
will make an exception.
Uh,
If it's another Haven, I'll
oh
probably get it.
no. Oh no. You're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to do that. Like what'll happen is, Mo, for your birthday, I got you Firehaven, and I'm like, what? I didn't want that. Yes, you did. Well, you're getting it now. And guess who's gonna play with you?
Maybe it'd be a good wedding present, babe, because
Yeah.
we're locked in then. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's.
It's a plan. All right, it's happening.
It's like that
Just
thing
have to get Isaac to make a Firehaven.
You were gonna say something a while ago, and if you don't remember,
I don't.
I can say that. Remember that I like. Don't hold grudges game to game. Hold grudges from the game to real life.
Oh yeah, please explain that because that was hilarious.
No, but it's true. Okay, so like we're playing uh Pilgrim or whatever, right? And let's say we're gonna play back to back or we're gonna play in another day and you screw me in or like I screwed you in Pilgrim. The worst thing is when you have playing against a couple and they're fighting in game with each other for some shit that happened in real life, you know? There's like, you gave me the cold shoulder, or you can say there's something wrong there. You can feel the pulse of like they're fighting or something and it's
Right.
affecting the game. It's making them fight each other in the game or just be weird, like they won't trade with each other and shit.
Yeah.
I
Were you
don't
saying
think that's
that
cool.
you don't like it? Yeah.
I don't think that's cool. No, I don't think you should
Right.
take real life shit to the game. That's not okay. That to me is a no. And if you have
And
with a
it's the
couple,
same with if like someone got someone flowers or something awesome, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh well, I'm not going to attack you in this game. I'm going to attack everyone else because you did this romantic thing for me. That's
I'm
also
not
not cool.
above that. I wish I was above that. If I could do something
You
nice,
would do that? Really?
well, I wouldn't say no. I would like if I did something really nice and you're like, oh yeah, I'll trade with you. You're such a nice guy. Like, I don't know, I got to meta it, man. I'm sorry, gotta win.
So you're saying you would try? You would try to do something nice to see if it had an effect in game?
I wouldn't try, but I mean, if there was a possibility,
What if
I
I
can't
did
say I
something nice
wouldn't.
to you? Would you be nice to me in a game?
No, fuck no.
No.
That's the real world. I'm not switching it to no goddamn game. But on the opposite side, if you fuck me over in a game, I'm shit. You're your own in real life. So let's say we're playing a game, right? Okay,
Right.
so like there's the gentleman thing. Like if we were going somewhere, we go to the what you call a petrol station, we call a gas station, and maybe I'll want to, pour the gas or something, and I'm in the passenger seat. I'd have like nothing
Just
going
listen
on.
to yourself. Just listen. You know that that's wrong. Pour the gas.
That's the way
Sorry.
we do it. That's what
Continue.
we call it.
You
That's what we call it.
weird Americans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were weird Americans. So put the gas in the car, whatever. If
Yeah.
if you kicked my ass in a game or you did something really mean or didn't trade with me or did something that aggravated me in real life, I'm just gonna sit there in the car. So I have my hands folded and you do the shit. Don't talk to me.
Really?
Yeah, I'll take a grudge to real life all day long.
Oh
But if
man, that's so
if
funny.
we played, let's say we played Settlers, right? And then I'm pissed
Okay.
off at you for always putting the robber on me, and I think that it was unjust, and you wouldn't trade with me, and you screwed me out of the game.
Yeah.
And then we played
It's
again.
because you
I
made me
wouldn't.
play Catan. That's why.
If we played a second time, I wouldn't hold it against you in the second game. The second game would be just like a restart. But
Okay.
if in between the games we went to the store,
Yeah.
well, I would treat you very badly. We haven't had a game to reset.
That makes no sense. That's terrible. That's
That's how I
bad. You
feel.
can't do that. You
To
can't
watch
do
me.
that. So you're gonna have to draw like a flow diagram so I can see what affects what. Because good things can't enter the game situation,
You can never influence the
and you
game from
can't
outside
you
situations.
can't right. Okay. But it can go out.
Oh yeah, it could spill over into the real world.
It can spill over into the real world. But then once you go into the next game,
It's a reset.
it's
Every game starts it all over again. So, like if we're playing something and you screw me over, then you might say, "Hey, let's play some love letter or something," and we'll just play it nice like, and then it's all over. You won't get the
just to clear
spillage.
the
Yeah,
right.
cleanser. We need to cleanse the palate.
Palate cleanse. Okay, sure. We'll go with that. I think that's reasonable, fairly reasonable. I don't know. Okay, so this guy, I should get his name while we're talking about it. But he actually inspired me a little bit. So you know how there's a new Catan expansion called Soccer Football Fever.
Hmm.
Did you know this? You saw it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you put down a settlement, you get to like try and kick a goal,
Kick a goal. Yeah.
and then you get
Sounds
like
good.
BPs or bonuses or
Hmm.
something. Would you play that? I know you like Catan. Would you play that?
I wouldn't say no.
Oh man, why?
The thing is,
You're
okay,
just doing
so
this to be a contrarian.
no, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't buy it. Um, I'm not into football or soccer, whichever you want to call it. There's a huge debate about that. But anyway, since I'm American, I'm going to say soccer. I wouldn't want to, but
Soccer.
soccer, soccer, soccer. Um,
Mm.
I'll let you say. I do have some stuff to say about it, though. You want to hear it?
About that specific
No, about like
Catan football expansion, or what
sort
we were
of
talking about.
adjacent.
Okay, can I say what I was
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to say
you
first?
definitely.
Okay. So Benny Sperling is his name. So he commented on my post because I said something which I don't know if what I said makes me sound like I'm really like I think that I'm great or something. But I just jokingly said that if you're going to be a sellout, like do it as shamelessly as Catan is, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Which I think is probably fair because if I was going to like majorly sell out, I would be doing it unashamedly. I'd be like, look at me go. Like, because the more shame you have, then the worse it is. Like, if everyone's picking on you and you have shame, like it looks bad, just go, yeah, I don't care. Pick on me all you want. Say what you want about me. I'm
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 all
a
about the
sellout.
money.
I don't go. I'm all about it. I don't give a shit. Right? That's
Right.
what I would
Right.
be like.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if that makes me sound bad or whatever, but Benny Sperling was like, I will be a sellout, like, just putting his hand up. Like, where can I go
To
to
sell
sell
out.
out? So I thought that would be a really cool question. And by the way, he's not a sellout at all. He's got like he designs games and he's designing like this little roll and write called Rock and Write,
Oh, that's the one that looks like
and
a
it's a print and
fretboard,
play.
like a guitar
Yeah,
fretboard and stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
the that part looks cool just because I understand that part, that world.
yeah.
But
And it's like you're competing in a band. What do they call it? Not
like
rock
a battle of the
bands.
bands
No,
or
that's a
something.
musical. Yeah, Battle of the Bands. Yeah, like a
Okay,
Battle of the Bands thing. You're doing
hmm.
that, right?
Cool.
Whatever. It looks cool, but it's like a print and play. It's like a little Kickstarter print and play thing. Unfortunately, there is another one because I went and had a look. There is another one that's called something else. It's very similar. There's two
Hmm.
roll and writes about guitars right now.
I think there might be
Anyway,
more in general, but yeah, it
okay.
was
So
too
my
popular.
question to you is, where what's the like best, most efficient way, the most like fail safe way of becoming a sellout? Do you
Mm,
reckon?
that's difficult.
I mean, it's hard
Well,
like for us to comment on this because we're nobodies. We're happily nobodies. We don't want to be anybody's.
um, I would think that you would go through and okay, so hmm, that's a difficult one because you have to who's buying. That's the, the
Mm.
you have to get the lowest common denominator. You start vanilla flavoring everything. There's a vanilla-ish to it that has to be there. I mean, there could be some
Right.
chocolate chips, but you're not selling chocolate. You're selling vanilla with a little bit of chocolate in it. So you
Yeah.
have to be as broad as possible. You
Right.
cannot be heavier than like a 2.7 at the most, and that's even stretching it.
Yeah.
2.5 ish would be on the heavy end. You got to be
Between
less than an hour long,
yeah.
an hour or less long. But there's a lot of outliers now that the board game community is matured. Because you
Mm.
you do have your what is it, Arc Novas and terraforming Marses and stuff. You do
Yeah.
have bigger games, but you're still not past that hour and a half mark.
Right.
So
Oh, I don't know if that's true, babe. I think Terraforming Mars goes for like 3 hours or more.
oh, it feels like it. I mean,
No, it does. They had to do a whole expansion about like giving you like starting companies and starting stuff so that you're not starting from zero. Because if you start from zero in that game, it takes a really long time
it
to,
takes ages. Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
anyway, but yeah, okay.
So I would look at commonalities such
Vanilla, make
as
everything vanilla,
make it vanilla,
make it family friendly theme.
right? Look at aspirations instead of like I tend to look at dark things. I don't look at aspirational stuff. Like you're starting in a good place if you're trying to do like a battle of the bands.
Yeah.
That's aspirational type things you're doing.
Right.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the formula because I'm not able to do it. If I knew the
Yeah.
formula, I would be rich.
Yeah. It's really tough to know. Like, obviously, it's hard
Okay,
to know how to sell out. Make
there's a
something, at least make something that you can have like 1,000 expansions for it.
oh yeah, yeah, and that's modular. I would suggest modular. I would suggest less than an hour. I would suggest 2.5 something. I would suggest play testing it with all different kinds of people. I would suggest
Mm.
playing it at the very beginning of a con and at the end of the con, not at the middle, so that you can get people who are done with the day. Are they still having fun? After you're done with the con and you're like pretty much ready to go to bed or whatever, and you can get people to play it, and if they're having fun, you have something. You have
Yeah.
something amazing to get the re-energize. And then if you have someone who can with that's half asleep, understand it and have a good time, both of those things are amazing.
Right.
There's a book called um, Mixing with Your Mind, and it has to do with music. And one of the questions that this producer, engineer, he's the one who wrote the book, that they ask him, and he's an Australian dude. I don't forgot his name. I need to find it. But okay, so this guy, they ask him, how do you make a hit song? And he said, he had a very analytical way to study it. He says you take all the hit songs and you figure out what chord progressions they use. You find out, yeah, you take all these little things that make up a song and you see what's common in all those. And he
Mm.
says you can start there.
Hmm.
And it's like basically you can either look at it like it's a math problem, or you can look at it like he's saying do the work first.
Yeah.
Like do all the work that it takes first to make a hit song, to understand what a hit song is.
Right.
And I would say maybe that's true with board games. Find out what a hit really is
Mm.
versus what you think it is, because
Yeah.
those are probably different.
Yeah. Maybe. That makes a lot of sense though. Like, I mean, most songs are, it's a similar length and they all have like similar amount of verses and a bridge and a chorus and the same
There's a lot of
structure and the same.
predictability to a
Right.
pop song,
Right.
but
And there's
and
probably a lot of predictability to board games too, because you don't want
probably
to do something too crazy. You want something that, like you said, everyone can understand, even people that are half asleep can understand it. And that's kind of a common thing between a lot of them, the Ticket to Rides and all that
right.
stuff.
I remember music artists always saying that they knew it was a hit when they saw their kid singing the song, jumping up and down, like they repeated a lyric or a hook or something from the song, like, and they just kept doing it. What was this? The Eminem song "I'm the Slim Shady." There was a kid that was in the room and he kept saying it and jumping up and down and saying it. And it was a little kid, very little kid, doing this. So
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something like that with board games, that you can see like something that's like, I don't know, magnetic almost, that it just
Yeah.
happens.
Well, just play test it and see what happens. And if everyone is like, "Oh, play it again. I want to play it again. I want to show this to
Oh
blah,"
yeah,
and if
that's a
they
sure.
don't, throw it in the trash, and then just
True.
make something else.
I wouldn't say that though, because there is playtest
No,
bias,
I know.
and that's a hard thing to deal with. Playtest bias.
Yeah, it's better just to play test with people you don't know,
Yeah,
just total
and
strangers.
if you believe in what you're doing, go with that. On the playtest bias, it goes both ways. It either goes with they really like it and it's not really that good, or they don't give it enough credit because it is a playtest. And
Yeah,
it goes both ways. So you just
it
have
could
to
be
be,
so many things too. You don't know how this person really feels about you.
yeah,
100%.
true that. Yeah,
Like
I've
you play
screwed up a
test with
playtest
someone.
like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you what, didn't like the person or the
No,
you
it was the end of the day and I already believed in the game. It was just going through the motions of playtesting, and they could
oh, okay.
feel it. They knew that I wasn't into the game. Not that I didn't enjoy the game, but I wasn't into that playtest because I was having life,
Mm,
and they reviewed it very negatively, but it had more to do with my attitude. I just
right.
wasn't into the playtest.
Yeah.
I already knew I already felt really good about the game. It didn't they couldn't say anything that'll make me throw it in the trash. They could just
Right.
give me some number data that I needed,
Yeah.
and it didn't. I didn't. I had life. I should have respected the playtester a little bit more,
Right.
but
And just
life
said
got in the
this isn't
way.
a good time or something or what.
Yeah, life
Yeah.
just got in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Well.
I had an experience like this recently because I showed our game Corrupt City to Adrian from the
Hmm.
barbecue, and I
Hmm.
was really hopeful that he'd be all like enthusiastic about it, and like
Hmm.
he gets really giddy about games sometimes, so much so that he will literally just like he'll be playing a game. I feel sorry for the people who are at the table, but he'll be playing a game and he'll like message me like, "Oh my god, this game is amazing," that kind of thing. So I was like, "There's a chance,
Mm,
there's a chance he'd be like that." But he wasn't. So
sad.
crushed. So yeah,
So
probably better just with strangers because then whatever they say can't hurt you. That's not true. What they say can definitely hurt you, but not as much. They can't cut you quite as deep.
right there, and there's less entanglement. I guess that
Yeah.
entanglement sometimes can make things a little weird for like what reasons they like it, what reasons don't they like it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and if it's another designer, like they might be working on their own thing, they might be jealous of this design, or they might be like there just could be so many weird things. It's better
Right.
just to play test with someone who just wants to try a new thing
Well,
that doesn't
I
have their own ideas of you or the game.
it's hard to like for me. It's something I don't do anymore, but it's something I used to do. Is I'd go into a playtest wondering if they're gonna like it, and
Mm,
now I don't care if they like it or not. It wouldn't be at this stage, and I wouldn't be playtesting if I didn't believe in it. And if
yeah.
it never goes anywhere, I just have to accept that. but
Mm.
I need to know. I need the data from you. I need to know, what's not working, what's working.
Yeah.
How did this feel? How did that feel? Not feel like I liked it or not. Did it feel smooth? Did it feel like, not did you like it? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I there's a selfish part of me that always wants to ask, did you like it? But
Yeah.
whatever they answer, I know it doesn't matter. They can say I
Yeah.
loved it, and it doesn't mean that it's going to sell a million copies. And if they say I hate it, it doesn't mean I'm going to throw it away. So I just ask because I'm selfish.
Yeah, fair enough. Um Also, I was going to ask you something else, and it was about, oh no, babe, I had
But
another question. It was really good. Oh, I actually put it in my phone because this is
okay.
my memory. My memory's so that bad. Okay. The question was, oh yeah, no, it was about it was about the link dumping and designers doing that and just okay. So this week I had to pull someone aside and talk to them
Mm-hmm.
and say, hey, dude, this isn't cool because I posted a like video of us, or actually I think it was prior to us actually recording. I said, hey, we're gonna like do a play test of CorruptCity if anyone wants to join, and
Mm-hmm.
this is what it's about and whatever. And I asked if anyone had done a creative project with their partner and how did it go, which was I actually got a really funny answer from someone. Some guy said to me, he's like, I'm on my seventh wife, but the game is almost done. And I'm like, that is awesome.
Damn, that's funny. That's
Yeah.
the opposite of the Frosthaven method.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm just gonna do this game. It doesn't matter how many wives I go through. Yeah. So some other person, and I won't name them, and I had to talk to them after, and they apologized for this and stuff, which was cool. But I just really am bringing it up more for the discussion.
Yeah.
They put, oh, are we promoting our stuff? Like, here's my game. It's on Kickstarter right now. As a comment to my, like, nothing about, oh, that looks interesting. No support for another designer that's just starting out, or nothing at all like that. Um, it was just, oh, if we're promoting, I'm gonna dump my link here. Like, I've got a Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that is such poor form. Like, this was the same person that I actually that morning had
Mm-hmm.
seen them post in the Australian Board Game Designers Facebook group saying, I have a Kickstarter, here it is.
Right.
And I commented, that's great, all the best with it. I saw this at PAX, whatever. And that was my version of supporting, not dumping my own. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
I would never think to comment on that and say, yeah, well, here's my thing. Like, to me, that's just so bad etiquette. Like, don't do that. And I don't think that is the way to sell out. I don't think that's the way to sell games, is to be like that. I can't imagine anyone thinking that that's great. I don't imagine anyone going, oh, this person seems cool, I'm going to check out their game after they've done that. But what do you think, babe?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts about this, and I'll try to keep it short. Okay, so it's a steep cliff.
Mm,
Like, if you've got the right game at the right time with the right artist,
yeah.
it's a 1 in a million chance people are going to give a shit.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, without the network to behind it to support it.
Yeah.
If you're just some random dude who puts something on Twitter about your game, let's just say you have 1 million followers and you put something out there, it's still hard to get people to really like it. You have to be the right game at the right time, or you go the opposite way and make friends, and that's the best way, actually. For the earlier question, if you want to get far, make the networks, and the networks are just be friendly to everybody, respect their projects, be into their project, not fake. Like check out what they're
Yeah.
doing. Everybody who's doing something is doing something interesting. There's something to learn from it. Well, most people, okay, most people are doing something there's something in there you can learn from. Even
Yeah.
if it's bad, there's something you can learn from. So just make the network, get to know everybody. You're going to get more likes and retweets and reposting of your stuff through people who know you. They they might say your game is amazing. It's you that's an amazing person, and they want to support you because you supported them. Now, if you go the opposite direction and you say, "Okay, my game's gonna live on its own credit," nobody knows your fucking game. Okay, and then you're going against all these other people, all these places that have done this. They have got the network backing. They've got everybody behind them reposting their stuff, saying, "Come buy this game. My friend's making a game," or "I know the designer for this," or whatever. You're fighting against that by randomly posting a game that nobody knows about.
Mm.
That doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it's worse when you post it in somebody else's thing. Okay, so I see your post. I might check it out. There's nothing that somebody posted underneath yours that's going to make me want theirs more than yours. I'll either like them
Mm.
equally or the one under yours less. Or I might
Mm.
just look at it and say, oh, this fucks up everybody's shit. Like the person underneath screwed the whole game up. Like, well, I mean, the game as the promotion game, not the game that
Right.
I like. There's
The
too many
original
people
game.
here posting and shit.
Yeah,
So
this just
I'm
looks
not,
like a linked up place. I'm not gonna, yeah, buy.
right, right. And I made that mistake early on, not with, well, I tried to get the board game group to grow, and it never grew by me posting the group. What ended up growing the group is by talking to people,
Yeah.
by having long, deep conversations, by talking about just talking all the time, talking, and people
Mm.
just started coming, and they would see a conversation, and they would build that way. And
Mm.
so I would say, don't just post your stuff, and be wary when somebody says, "Hey, who's working on a project?" That list of stuff, unless you're extra special and did something really extra, those projects are just looked at once. It's not a.
Mm.
It's better to do like a design diary. It's better to talk to people. It's better to be part of like the design community. Find out who's making a lot of games now. Talk to them. Just get your people will recognize you, and then they'll attach you to the game, and then they'll be synonymous, and you'll be able to post your thing, and people will be interested.
Yeah, it is really hard though. Like, you can be as nice as anything. Like, I have supported people and I've play tested for people and I've, done, promoted them on the podcast and blah, blah, blah. Like, because I've genuinely liked their game and talked about
Mm-hmm.
it. And, they don't necessarily ask you about your game. Like, it's not
Right, right. Everybody's
necessarily,
self-centered.
yeah, everyone's self centered. They're all doing their own thing. They want to promote that. Yeah. So yes, it's a good idea, but it's also not. And I also think that um it's hard to really judge people that do that because it is just so hard to get your game out there.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is so hard to get people to pay attention with the amount of games that are out. It's like everyone has got their own design they're working on, you know.
Right.
But it's better to do that. I think it's better to try and network and to maybe make people feel obligated to you. I guess
Well,
indebted to you because
well,
and just have a real conversation with them and say, hey, I'd love your opinion on this because your design's
yes.
great. I liked your stuff, so maybe if you like my stuff, that would be great. Or if you don't even want that, like you say, if you just want numbers and whatever. But um, and like growing a community, I think we've talked about that before, is always good. But
Well,
yeah, just putting a random link dump everywhere you can is
that's a
probably not
no-no.
going
That
to
is
do
a
it.
no-no. But yeah, like
You're going to do the opposite of like what you said. You're going to not make friends. You are going to make enemies. Like
true.
people are going to see that and go, I'm avoiding that person. They link dump.
Right, right. And the thing though, I would say one, you're right, be genuine. But two, you also it's also good like let them know you have an agenda when you first like if you're going to talk to a designer, it's okay to say, "Hey, I really like your stuff. I've got some stuff too." I'll check your stuff out. Do you mind checking out my stuff? Like it's
Mm.
it's okay to put that out because if like you said, if you, just because you support somebody doesn't mean they know you have a project or care that you have a project or whatever. They're moving forward with their plan. So
Yeah.
it's hard to it's really just a lot of relationship cultivation.
Yeah.
And I would say I get more traction from the friends that I made 20 years ago, not 20 years ago, not that old, like 10 years ago than I do with somebody new that just saw my game. It's like the people who met me like 10 years ago before I had any good designs, the people that were there with Conflict of Plants and stuff, those
Yeah.
people are still my friends. When I go to a con, they want to know what I'm doing. They want to know, like, they're going to be the ones that actually kickstart anything I do just because of the friendship. And then,
Yeah.
but I owe it to them to make the best that I can so that they can say my friend did this and I'm proud of it or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
here, sell it for $50 more than than they paid for it. Hopefully, make them some money. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it sound like it just too much praising on network crap? But it's so important. It's so fucking important.
Yeah. It is important. And I think it's really the only thing you can do in a market like this. In a
Well,
saturated market like this.
that brings me to one thing. Okay, so what you probably should do is give yourself. This is like with anything, 100. You put the number 100. Give yourself 100 days or 100 weeks, whatever you need. Just the number 100, and like say if it's 100 days, every day try to promote your game in a way that's better than the last, and but
Mm.
take note of what didn't work. And
Mm.
by the end, you'll find what works.
Yeah.
You really have to just watch the patterns. And if you notice when you just randomly put shit, how many likes do you get? How many retweets do you get? You're not going to get very many unless you're just lucky or
Mm.
you have the networks already. All those things you can test yourself.
Yeah. Well, I know like day one of marketing, they were like, you got to do a variety of stuff. You cannot do one thing.
Well,
Like
yeah, but
if you're
every day you
marketing
try to
something, you have to,
get better at one thing.
yeah, right. Or just write all the things that kind of worked and then just do all of those things.
Yeah, do all those things. Or
Do a
do
mixture.
if you're a designer, there's a lot of shortcuts you can. Don't worry about promotion. Enter contests. Let the contest itself be the promotion.
Mm.
Um, put it in front of publishers. They're the ones that are going to be promoting the thing. You
Yeah.
know, you
See what they say about it.
right. Try to find out
Yeah.
who's your market. If you're going to go to Kickstarter, then find successful people in Kickstarter. Talk to them.
Hmm.
Use them as people that'll be consultants.
Yeah.
Um, don't
You know what
just
you could do?
random.
You could be like, oh, I've got this YouTube channel. I want to do an interview. I want to do an interview of you. Get them on the show, then interview exactly what they did. And you're like, right, cool. Now I'm going to go and do exactly
Let me
what
go
you
and
did.
do that.
Yeah.
That's there you go. There's a hack right there. The
Yeah.
internet hack.
Because everyone likes to be interviewed, everyone likes to talk about themselves,
I am
right?
amazing. Yep.
Right. We're doing that with you every week.
Yeah, I am amazing.
Oh boy. Do you think I sounded really bad when I said that about the sellout thing?
Oh,
I don't like the
I
sellout
don't think
thing.
so.
It's so tacky, like Catan soccer, and just like how
Okay,
over the top. I don't want any more. I don't want any more Catan.
okay. I do have something to say on the to be a contrarian to that.
Uh-oh.
Uli once got on his live thing and he asked how what people there that were into Spielberg's games were into sports games, and like the majority were like no,
No.
you know, like
Yeah.
it takes a specific type of board gamer that likes sports to like sports board games. Like that's a
Right.
hobby within a hobby, you know.
Yeah.
And so he was worried about taking on a game that was a sports game.
Right.
It is a thing that there's a lot of geeks that didn't get into sports. It's just a thing, you know. We're on the academic side, so
Right.
usually, or at least a good portion of us are into math and
Well, we're
shit.
like neither. We're like good at
Yeah,
neither.
I'm a dumbass and I'm here. Damn it, I'm here to play games. I don't know what you guys. You guys want to read? Fuck reading. Let's play games. But okay,
Yeah.
so I would say that this thing with the soccer might open up a little bit of levity, you know, in a Catan, a little bit more levity in a Catan game. Like not that you need more, but you know, you just happy
I guess
soccer
so.
dexterity thing on the side, and
Yeah.
maybe it'll bring in fucking board games that are sports based that are more accepted because I don't think they're, in my view, they're not very accepted. You'll accept a train, but you won't accept a fucking sport.
I'll accept a train any day over football, Catan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's it takes us back to when we were bullied for not being good at sports. I don't want anything to do with sports anymore after that. It's
Because
like
of that, really?
trauma. It's like, yeah,
Hmm.
being picked last. It all just comes back. I'm only kidding, but
It'd be funny if
maybe I don't know.
you're playing a fucking soccer fucking Catan and you're like you just like hit the floor, start crying and shit.
Fetal position.
Yeah. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. I don't want to go to school today. It's sport day, and everyone picks on me.
And then you pee on yourself.
Oh. And it was all because of fucking Catan.
Yeah.
Oh god.
That's how you
Not
sell
worth
out.
it. Not worth
If you
it.
can get someone to pee on themselves with your game, you fucking done it.
You sold out.
You sold out a lot. That's all about.
That's when you know. That's when you
know.
know you've sold out.
Yeah, get
Someone
people to pee
pees
on.
a bit.
That's my new life goal, to get people to pee on themselves.
Oh god.
Bonus if they're in the fetal position. Bonus.
Oh man, I've almost been in the fetal position playing Matchstick Girls, so you're close, babe.
I'm close.
You're
I just
really
gotta figure
close.
out. I just gotta like
Okay.
hydrate you like hardcore before we start. Maybe. We on the ground. I was like, "Is there any wee? Is there any wee?"
I wasn't
Did I
weeing
achieve
myself.
it?
But I was sweating. I was like losing fluid by sweating. So stressful. Oh god. Anyway, we've, we should end it there. I think
Yeah,
on
we
that
should,
note.
on that note. Yeah, now that we have the answers to everything.
Right, definitely. That was fun.
All right, let me
And,
see if I can figure out how to turn this damn thing off.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
I think you said. I think we're glad. I think I'm glad that we talked about pee. What?
Yeah, same.